2 meters away from the outer wall of the masjid. So in fact, almost touching it. Now here is a photograph of the mosque and the trench on this western side. This is the wall of the mosque. This is of course the peripheral wall, here is sort of retaining wall. Now from here downwards, we have different levels. Say the early medieval levels, the Gupta levels, Kushan levels, Shunga levels, and further to 3rd, 4th century BCE. In the deep trench here, which you cannot see right now, we went further down about 7 or 8 feet. And in the lowest levels in this trench, we found material such like the northern black polished ware and other things, which go back to about 700 before Christ. This is the lowest deposit, and this probably is the time of Lord Ram, because similar evidence comes from other places like Shanbirpur, Bharadwaj Ashram, Chitrakoot, which are associated with the Ram story. And a similar trench was put on the southern side of the mosque, where again we went to the 7th century BC level, confirming what we get on the other side. In fact, we excavated at 14 places at Ayodhya, so that we did not miss the lowest levels, and we got the same kind of evidence. Well, as I told you, we put a trench on the southern side of the mosque. What you see in this photograph, this is the wall, outer wall of the mosque. This is a recent surface accumulation, but ancient surface is here. As we went about 35 to 30 centimeters below it, we came across a series of pillars. You can see 1, 2, 3, and this one is gone. Another row can be seen is sticking out of this section. Now these big bases are likely to have carried the stone pillars that you now see in the mosque. These are oriented along the cardinal directions, that is north, south and east, west. Likewise, in the mosque, you see these pillars, they are also oriented along the cardinal direction, east, west and north, south. These pillars carry typical Hindu motifs, which are found on the pillars in temples. There are sculptures also on them. And stylistically, these pillars are dated to a period around 1100 AD. So there is enough circumstantial evidence to connect these stone pillars with the bases which we saw in the previous photograph, big bases found in the excavation. And if further work is done, there is every chance of getting more evidence from underneath the mosque, which will show the connection of these pillars, pillar bases, and the actual pillars. The distance also is of importance, which is more or less the same. Now, you see this stone pillar. The base here is slightly smaller than the base that we have of this brick foundation. And this is as it ought to be, because normally, for the sake of strength, you have got a much wider base than the base of the actual pillar.
Over the existing Hindu structure, why were the columns left exposed?
That happens. Sometimes, if you see in various places where this has been done, plinths and parts of columns still stand. In fact, in Delhi itself, there is the mosque Qubbatul Islam. Many of the pillars are still standing there, and over that a dome has been put. And this was nothing unusual. You see, when the Muslim invaders came, they naturally wanted to, sort of show their strength. And as a result of that, there is an inscription in this mosque, Delhi mosque, known as Qubbatul Islam, that as many as 27 temples were destroyed to produce this mosque. And the very word Qubbatul Islam means the might of Islam. The whole idea was that the invader must impress upon the invaded that they are powerful. And a sort of terror situation was created by it, which perhaps any invader might do. Now, interesting thing is that this is the destruction level of these pillars. And it is from this layer that we found the glaze pottery, which I will show you presently. And the layer which has the material of destruction, is of about 1500 AD or thereabouts, because we have got plenty of glazed pottery from this, which is so typical of the Muslim period in India. You see, this kind of pottery never came into India prior to, say, the 13th century. So the destruction is datable to a period about 1500 AD or so. You can't be more precise than that, because pottery has a much wider range. But the destruction of the structure connected with those pillars took place around that period.
So then, sir, how come this circumstantial evidence has not been brought to light so far?
Well, 2 years ago, I submitted a report to the government through the Director General, and maybe they are thinking of publishing it as and when it suits, or as and when it is possible. Why it has not been done so far, I really cannot comment on that.
But sir, can you please tell me that how is it that you can prove that the temple stood below the boundary of the
Well, as we know, there are three sciences. The cross-checking of the evidence from all the three would give us the right kind of results. Cross-check this literary evidence, the art history evidence, and the art history evidence with the archaeological evidence. And we found that the temple which is listed here actually faced east. And the reason was very simple. Rama belonged to the Surya Vansh, and the first ray of the sun should therefore fall on the Garbhagriha image. The temple obviously faced east. It had to face east. The evidence is very clear from the geomorphological studies of the site itself. Right at the back of the mosque, where originally the temple existed, has a large ditch, almost 40 feet deep, where a branch of the river Saryu once flowed. Obviously, nothing could be built there at this point, and therefore the Garbhagriha has to be there, where the present mosque is standing, or the present central dome is there. We took very close pictures of the 14 pillars of the temple which exist still in the mosque complex. These sculptures belong to 11th century AD. It was therefore clear to us that the yakshas which carry the kalash or Purnagata, the Dwarapala having a trident or trishul in one hand, all go to prove that here was a temple that existed from 11th century through the 15th century AD. One thing more, the stone, popularly known as Kasoti, but actually it was a sistos, which is normally found in the Nepal Tarai and parts of Kumaon Garhwal area. It is nowhere found in the Gangetic Valley. It is also to be noted that this stone was almost exclusively used by the people during this period for making only images of gods and goddesses. It was a very valuable stone. All the circumstantial evidence of competitive religion would make it more a temple devoted to Vishnu or Rama, or the Rama form of Vishnu.
Supposing the excavation, that disputed site was handed over to you and you were given free rein for complete excavation. So how would you proceed and what do you hope to find?
Well, it is a very hypothetical question. But if we are given a free hand and asked to excavate below the mosque, it can only be done when the mosque is removed bodily and the whole land is given to us. We hope to get the remains of 84 pillars in the form of bases, which we have already encountered, at least half a dozen of them, in the excavations conducted on the south of this mosque. We also expect to get sculptured panels experience has shown that whenever a temple was destroyed, the sculptured stones were reused in the construction of the mosques by putting the sculptured face of the stones upside down or behind, and the unsculptured face is facing the inside of the structure called mosque. There they put the plaster and they make it smooth. So in case it is removed, we expect to get those sculptured stones which may have been used in the construction of the mosque. We also hope to get the remains of some other structures, if they were at all there, of a temple, because a temple did not consist only of the Garbhagriha, but also subsidiary structures and subsidiary temples. If it was, for example, Panchayatam type, then we may get the remains of 4 subsidiary shrines. Now, if it is done, nobody will be more happy than ourselves.
It's a beautiful idea. Let us see. Who knows? This something good may come out of all this dispute. We may discover a beautiful, archaeologically important and historically important edifice. Maybe the virtual palace of actually prehistoric time of Ram's time might be discovered down below. Who knows? Let us go and excavate right up to the 4th layer. Because every time it is said that some people came and rebuilt on it. So let us see that. That is what we must do. And I think that can be done. Initially, let us have this decision that it was an Indian thing, and I think this will provide a best ground for the Muslims, religious Muslims, right from Imam to everyone, to say that, look, if this is so, then after all it was an abad place on which no masjid initially should have been built, and therefore we agree that from this place the masjid should be removed. And then we can give a turn and say, let us now build a beautiful masjid nearby and a beautiful Ram temple, but as far as this mound is concerned, let us excavate it for archaeological purpose. I think that would be the best solution.
Solutions are there for the seekers to find, if indeed our leaders are seeking a solution. How long will the common man quench with his life his leaders' hunger for power and votes? How long will the country's stability, development, and its secular ideals be sacrificed at the altar of political calculations? Just when India was entering an era of modernism and economic growth, the Ayodhyas and Mandals have relit the flames of casteism and communalism, which, very conveniently for our politicians, covers up their inability and inefficiency in dealing with primary issues like poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, and corruption. With electoral decisions being made on caste and communal needs, we depart further from secularism into a divided and unstable India. The Ayodhya issue is a condemnation of our whole political, legal, and social ethos.
Over Ayodhya, an unholy calm prevails as it lies somnambulant, awaiting a final siege. Prayers continue to take place on the banks of the river Saryu. Its mute waters flow on, tainted with the blood of the innocent, spilt in the power play of our leaders.